Have you ever felt trapped in your own mind? Like no matter how much you try to stay positive, your thoughts and emotions keep pulling you back into stress, anxiety, or overthinking. What if I told you that real freedom isn't about changing your life circumstances but about changing your relationship with your mind? That's exactly what The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer is all about. This book isn't just another self-help guide, it's a powerful wake-up call. It shows you how to break free from the constant mental chatter, let go of the emotional baggage that's weighing you down, and finally experience a deep sense of peace no matter what's happening around you. In this video, we're going to break down the key lessons from The Untethered Soul, exploring how you can step back from your thoughts, release the need for control, and open yourself up to life in a completely new way. Stick around, because by the end of this, you might just see the world and yourself differently. Have you ever noticed that little voice in your head? You know, the one that won't shut up. It's always commenting on everything what you're doing, what you should have done, what might go wrong next. It even argues with itself. 1 second, it's like, I should totally go to the gym, and the next, maybe tomorrow. That voice, what if I told you that isn't you? That's exactly what Michael A. Singer explores in The Untethered Soul. This book isn't just another self-help guide. It's a deep dive into the nature of consciousness, the mind, and what it truly means to be free. And freedom, according to Singer, isn't about having no problems. It's about learning to stop being controlled by your thoughts, emotions, and fears. Think about it. Most of us spend our lives trapped in our own heads, reacting to whatever thoughts pop up like we're passengers in a runaway car. But what if you could step back? What if, instead of being lost in your thoughts, you could just watch them like clouds passing through the sky? That's the first key shift Singer introduces. You are not your thoughts, you are the one who notices them. And once you truly understand that, everything changes. But the real challenge? Letting go. We hold on so tightly to past pain, worries about the future, or the need to control things that are totally outside our power. Singer says this is what blocks us from real happiness. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go, filled with every grudge, every insecurity, every fear of what might happen next. Now imagine what it would feel like to finally drop it. That's the kind of liberation The Untethered Soul is offering. This book isn't about giving you a new belief system. It's about showing you what's already true. Right now, in this moment, there's a part of you that's completely untouched by stress, fear, or anxiety. The problem is, we rarely live from that place. Instead, we get caught up in the never-ending noise of the mind. So here's the question, are you ready to wake up? To stop living at the mercy of every passing thought? If you've ever felt overwhelmed, stuck, or just tired of the constant mental chatter, this book might just be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. And the best part? You don't have to do anything, just start noticing. Because the path to real freedom doesn't start with changing the world. It starts with understanding who you really are. And that's what we're about to uncover. Let's get real for a second. How often do you feel like your mind is running the show? Like your thoughts and emotions are dragging you around, reacting to whatever life throws at you. One moment, you're feeling great, and the next, one annoying comment, one bad memory, or one unexpected problem completely hijacks your mood. It's exhausting. But here's the thing, what if you could break free from that cycle? What if your thoughts and emotions didn't have to control you? That's what The Untethered Soul is all about. And it all starts with recognizing what's actually going on in your mind. First, let's talk about the voice inside your head. You know, the one it's constantly talking, analyzing, judging, predicting, worrying. It's like a radio that never turns off. But here's the kicker, you are not that voice. You are the one hearing it. And that simple realization is life-changing. Because if you are the observer, then you don't have to get caught up in the drama your mind creates. The next time you hear that inner voice spiraling telling you that you're not good enough, or that something bad is going to happen, just stop and notice it. Don't fight it, don't try to shut it up. Just watch it. When you do that, you create space between you and your thoughts, and suddenly, they lose their power over you. But the mind isn't the only thing we get trapped in. We also hold on to emotional baggage, or as Singer puts it, our inner thorns. These are unresolved pains, fears, or insecurities we carry with us, and every time something touches them, we react. Let's say you were hurt in a past relationship, and now, any little sign that someone might leave you sends you into panic mode. That's not the present moment causing you pain, that's an old wound you never let go of. But here's the problem, most of us don't deal with these thorns. Instead, we either avoid them or build our entire lives around protecting them. We close ourselves off, stay in our comfort zones, and try to control everything so we never get hurt again. But that's not freedom. That's living in fear. So how do you break free? You let go. You stop resisting life. You stop clinging to what's comfortable. You let emotions pass through you instead of gripping onto them. It's not about suppressing pain, it's about learning to experience it fully and then release it. And yeah, that sounds terrifying. But think about it, how much energy do you waste fighting reality? Trying to control things that are completely out of your hands. What if, instead of resisting, you simply surrendered? Not in a weak way, but in a way that allows life to flow naturally without you trying to micromanage every outcome. That's what real freedom looks like. Another huge part of this book is understanding your energy. Ever notice how some days you feel completely drained, while other days you're overflowing with energy? That's because our energy isn't just about sleep or food, it's about how open or closed we are to life. Singer explains that our energy flows like a river, but when we hold on to negativity, fear, stress, resentment, we build dams that block that energy. That's why you feel heavy when you're upset. But if you can learn to keep your heart open to not shut down when things get tough, you'll notice something incredible. You'll feel lighter. Freer. More alive. Because your energy isn't stuck inside old wounds anymore, it's flowing. But here's where most people struggle, the present moment. We're almost never here, in the now. We're either stuck in the past, replaying old hurts, or worrying about the future, trying to control what hasn't even happened yet. But the past is gone, and the future isn't real yet. All we ever truly have is this moment. So how do you actually live in it? It starts with awareness. Right now, wherever you are, just pause. Take a deep breath. Feel your body. Listen to the sounds around you. That's now. And if you can train yourself to come back to this moment more often, you'll start to realize that most of your suffering isn't coming from reality, it's coming from your mind story about reality. So what's the takeaway from all of this? You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to stop clinging to thoughts, to emotions, to control. Let go. Relax. And remember, you are not your mind. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness behind them. The more you return to that awareness, the freer you become. And that's what it means to be untethered. So, you've made it this far. You get the idea, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, and freedom comes from letting go. Sounds great, right? But now the real question is, how do you actually do it? How do you apply this to your everyday life so you're not constantly getting pulled back into the same old patterns? That's where the action plan comes in. Because understanding these concepts is one thing, living them is another. Let's start with something simple: observe your thoughts. This might sound easy, but it's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. Most of us are so caught up in our own minds that we don't even realize it's happening. It's like being lost in a movie we forget we're watching, and instead, we start believing every single thought that pops up. But here's your challenge: start noticing. When that voice in your head starts rambling, worrying about work, judging people, overanalyzing a conversation you had 2 days ago, just watch it. Don't try to stop it, don't argue with it, just notice. The more you practice this, the more you'll start to see that your thoughts are not reality. They're just noise. And the moment you stop identifying with them, they start losing their grip on you. Now, let's talk about releasing emotional resistance. Imagine you're holding a beach ball underwater. It takes effort, right? The second you let go, it pops up to the surface on its own. That's exactly how emotions work. We spend so much energy trying to suppress pain, avoiding discomfort, or pretending we don't care when really, all we need to do is let it go. But letting go doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. It means allowing yourself to fully feel them without holding on. Next time you feel anger, fear, or sadness rising up, instead of pushing it down, try this: relax. Breathe. Let the feeling pass through you without gripping onto it. It might feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is temporary. The more you practice, the easier it gets. And eventually, emotions will stop having such a strong hold over you. But here's the tricky part: surrendering to life. This one might go against everything you've ever been taught. We grow up believing we need to be in control, to plan, to strategize, to make sure things go exactly the way we want. But control is an illusion. The truth is, life is completely unpredictable. No matter how hard you try, you can't control what other people do, how situations unfold, or what the future holds. But you can control how you respond. And that's where surrender comes in. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting. It means letting life flow without trying to force it. Think about it: how much stress do you put yourself through trying to control things that are out of your hands? What if, instead of resisting, you just relaxed? You'd instantly free up so much energy. Next time something doesn't go your way, instead of panicking, try stepping back and saying, "Okay, let's see what happens." Notice how much lighter you feel when you stop fighting reality. Now, this next step is huge: keeping your heart open. This might sound abstract, but it's actually one of the most practical things you can do. Every time you shut down, whether it's because of fear, rejection, or disappointment, you're closing yourself off from life. And when you do that, you block the flow of energy inside you. You feel tired, heavy, stuck. But if you can keep your heart open, even when things get tough, you'll notice something incredible: your energy stays strong. You feel more alive, more present, more connected. So how do you do it? Simple: every time you feel yourself closing, getting defensive, shutting down emotionally, just breathe and relax. Don't resist the feeling. Let it pass through you. The more you practice this, the easier it gets. And eventually, you'll find that you don't react to things the way you used to. Someone can say something rude, and instead of getting upset, you just smile and move on. Life becomes so much easier when you're not constantly shutting yourself down. And finally, the most important step of all: living in the present moment. This is the key to everything. Think about it: how much of your life do you actually spend here, in the now? Most of us are either stuck in the past, replaying old memories, or in the future, worrying about what might happen. But the past is gone, and the future isn't real yet. The only thing that truly exists is this moment. And the more you train yourself to live in it, the more peace you'll find. So how do you stay present? It's all about awareness. Every time you find yourself drifting into the past or future, gently bring yourself back. Use your senses: notice the sounds around you, feel your breath, look at the details of whatever is in front of you. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. And over time, you'll notice something amazing: most of the problems in your life aren't coming from reality. They're coming from your thoughts about reality. And once you see that, you can finally be free. So here's your challenge: start small. Spend just one day watching your mind instead of getting lost in it. Let go of one thing you've been holding on to, whether it's an old grudge, a fear, or the need to control something. And every time you feel yourself shutting down, take a deep breath and stay open. If you do this, even for a little while, you'll start to see the difference. You'll feel lighter, freer, more you. Because at the end of the day, this journey isn't about changing who you are. It's about waking up to who you've always been. And that's the real path to freedom. By now, the untethered soul might seem like the ultimate guide to inner peace. Just let go, stop resisting life, and boom, you're free, right? Well, not so fast. The truth is, as powerful as these ideas are, there are some blind spots and common misconceptions that trip people up. And if you don't recognize them, you might find yourself frustrated, thinking, why isn't this working for me? One of the biggest misconceptions is that letting go means doing nothing, that surrendering to life means becoming passive or indifferent. A lot of people hear the phrase, just let go, and think it means they should stop taking action altogether, just float through life and accept whatever happens. But that's not the point. Surrendering isn't about giving up, it's about giving up resistance. You can still set goals, make decisions, and work hard just without the fear, stress, and attachment that usually come with it. Imagine chasing a dream but without the constant anxiety about whether you'll succeed. Imagine handling challenges with clarity instead of panic. That's the real power of surrender. It allows you to take action from a place of peace instead of fear. Another blind spot: thinking that emotions are the enemy. After reading this book, some people assume that being spiritually free means never feeling anger, sadness, or fear again. They try to suppress their emotions in the name of staying centered. But ignoring your emotions is just another form of resistance. The real lesson here isn't to stop feeling, it's to stop clinging. Emotions will always rise and fall, that's just part of being human. The key is to let them pass through you without holding on to them. When you do that, they don't control you anymore. Then there's the trap of overthinking enlightenment. Some people read The Untethered Soul and start constantly analyzing themselves, wondering, am I observing my thoughts correctly? Am I truly letting go? Ironically, this defeats the whole purpose. If you're stressing about whether you're enlightened enough, you're just creating another mental prison. Freedom isn't about thinking your way to peace, it's about experiencing it. So don't get stuck in your head. If you find yourself obsessing over whether you're doing it right, just laugh, take a deep breath, and let that go too. Another misconception is that this path should feel easy. Look, letting go sounds simple, but in practice, it can be brutal. Your mind has spent years, maybe even decades, reacting a certain way, clinging to control, resisting discomfort, replaying old wounds. Rewiring that is going to take time. And honestly, at first, it might feel impossible. You'll probably catch yourself falling back into old habits, getting lost in thought, or shutting down emotionally. And that's okay. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is to keep coming back, again and again, to the awareness behind it all. If you expect an overnight transformation, you'll end up disappointed. But if you approach this as a lifelong practice, you'll start to see real change. And finally, the belief that once you get it, you'll never struggle again. A lot of people assume that after reaching a certain level of awareness, nothing will ever bother them again. But even the most spiritually advanced people still experience challenges. The difference is, they don't fight reality. They don't hold on. They don't let their thoughts and emotions define them. The work never really ends, but it does get easier. So if you're on this journey and feel like you're struggling, don't worry, that's part of it. Just keep practicing. Keep letting go. Keep coming back to the present moment. Because freedom isn't something you achieve once and for all. It's something you choose, moment by moment, every single day. If The Untethered Soul resonates with you, there's a whole world of wisdom that expands on these ideas. Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now dives even deeper into presence and how to break free from the grip of your thoughts. For a more personal take, Singer's own The Surrender Experiment tells the story of how he applied these principles in real life, with surprising and transformative results. If you're drawn to the emotional healing side, Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach beautifully explores how to embrace your feelings without getting trapped in them. And if you want to go beyond the mind and explore the nature of consciousness itself, A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle is an eye-opening next step. The journey to self-awareness doesn't end with one book, it's a continuous unfolding. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and most of all, keep letting go. So, what's the big takeaway from the Untethered Soul? It's simple: you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are the awareness behind them. The more you step back and observe, rather than get lost in the noise of your mind, the freer you become. Life will keep throwing challenges your way, but real peace comes when you stop resisting and learn to let go. Now, I want to hear from you. What part of this book resonated with you the most? Have you ever tried observing your thoughts without getting caught up in them? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos like this. Thanks for watching, and remember, true freedom starts within.